All right, we're here at day 450, day 450. Hope you are doing well this Tuesday. Man, it seems like the week just started, but already Tuesday night. Tomorrow's hump day. So I'm not following my stream too well. Like, if there's any issues, just let me know in the chat. I've got just a big blank window. This is happening again. Not sure what the deal is there, but I do have this window, so I can kind of see delayed. Yeah, I hope you're having a good day, though. We are doing customizing VTY lines. Today, I had a chance to go through some additional system management labs. Let's just do a quick check on the workbook and see where we are at overall. I've got the workbook already open here. And wow, it's just... Okay, so we got through, we're on tuning packet buffers. I did that earlier today. Very simple. Hey, Mark Milo, time is flying. Heck, we already in June. By the way, good evening, everyone. Yeah, thanks, man. Good evening to yourself. Yeah, it is flying. And man, Cisco Live is almost here. I've got 3 days of work before heading over to Cisco Live. So it was an intense day at work today. Did some really cool stuff in Azure, learning how to, working on some policy work. Azure policies are in some ways kind of like, group policy in a regular Windows environment, but you do it not at resource group level. Some policies have to be implemented they can be implemented at a resource group level, subscription level, management group level, and I believe tenant level. But the automation of that is a little different. You have to treat them differently than you would any other sort of automation. So the JSON format and just kind of how you develop your pipeline to push those out is a little different. But anyway, learned some cool stuff today, trying to get the stuff done to round out the week in our sprint. But things are going well. So I am getting ready. I am actually going to start packing a little bit tomorrow, make sure I've got some things ready. I found out someone else from our job is going from our company is going, I did not realize, which is cool. So yeah, really excited. I need to get in Discord too and respond to some folks and line up some things. I want to spend a little bit of time at least trying to line up where our Tuesday night dinner might be, our Tuesday night, meet up. So anyway, that is coming. In the meantime, let's get on with the next, before we hit SNMP, which I'm probably going to save for tomorrow because I have to do a little bit of meal prep tonight, it turns out. But the terminal line settings, there are a host of terminal line settings here that is asking us to do. And I'm just going to get right into that. And these, again, this falls into not the sort of lab where you would say, okay, this is kind of a routing scenario, and here's the requirements. And I would just try to figure that out before looking at the answer key. This is just rote sort of memorization of, nuancy little things about, for example, terminal lines. So this, of course, terminal lines could include a console. Well, this would be your VTY lines are going to be either Telnet or hopefully SSH connections. Last night we spent some time playing with Telnet settings. But let me get out the Yankee cards because we're going to want to probably add some cards as we learn some of these commands. And for something like this, I did do a few cards today, but I've got quite a few new ones based on what we've added. But yeah, essentially what it's talking about here, and again, this standard disclaimer, the labs I'm working on are from the INE workbook. They're not my labs, INE.com. Want to see the workbook yourself. I don't show it on screen. Check it out. Work with them. They can sometimes give you a deal. It's a great tool. But anyway, router 3. I'm just going to sort of paraphrase some requirements here. We only want Telnet connections to VTY 0 through 4 without using an ACL. The only Telnet I can't spell Yeah, I don't have a fact, unfortunately. You know, that's a good one. I should do a welcome, Ismaitas. I do have a number of commands, but I don't have a fact. So that's a great idea, actually. I'm going to put that in my to-do list. Let me add that now to. I've got a couple other commands I've been meaning to add. So adding that now. Great idea, chatbot. I've been working on chatbots for our. We have some chatbot, and they're linked to some AI services in Azure that we're using at work, and it's really cool. We're actually training our chatbots with different things. Really cool technology. But yeah, of course, it's been on Twitch here a long time. I want to do a FAQ. I was curious to see how your journey for CCIE is coming along. It's going great. It's made us. I am almost. So as I was just showing in the INE workbook here, that's my primary workbook resource for learning. I passed the written on, was it January 31st or February 1st? I forget which exact day. Maybe it was February 1st. So I passed the written exam. Yes, all on Instagram. Congrats. Thanks, man. Yeah, so it turns out, though, I cannot take, next week at Cisco Live, I wanted to retake the written just to, continue to keep that information, some of that knowledge fresh. And it has some tough questions related to things I'll see on the lab soon. But I'm not allowed to take it after passing up to 180 days. So I'm underneath that. So yeah, it's been a little while now, and I'm making good progress. In the INE workbook, I have 2 sections left. So I've gone through, multicast, QoS, BGP, layer 2, done security, and I have 2 sections left, which is system management and services, infrastructure services. And I'm flying through those. So I may be ready to take the lab. I was gunning for November, but at this rate, who knows? I might be ready like in September, October. How's the CCIE written affected your career? Well, it gave me some respect at work because people thought I had already gotten my CCIE and I had to correct them. No, that's just a wall you have to get over so you can, get to the tournament. It's just a qualifier. But yeah, people respect that you passed a written anyway, so they know you're serious about it. Armilo, if you're ever in the mood, love to hear how you deal mentally with having to study every day. Some call it a grind. Just an idea for a future stream, perhaps. Yeah, some days are easier than others, I have to say. But streaming has helped me a lot. Stick to a schedule because I know that, people are expecting to see the progress and maybe tag along for some labs. So streaming has been a big help. And mentally, though, sometimes it's like going, I have a couple of routines like that. And I'll get into this more perhaps in other streams, but I'll just say now, like, it's kind of like going to the gym every morning. So it's just something I've decided to do that's very important to me. And I try to set myself up for it so that there's really no excuse not. So it's great to have, hey, Tico, good to see you, my man. Yeah, we'll miss you this year, Tico. I saw your post about Cisco Live this year, but I'm getting pressured as well, Tigo, I know, I'm getting pressured to go to, I would say pressured, highly encouraged to go to Microsoft Ignite. So it could be, well, last year I'm like, I'm going to go every year to Cisco Live. Next year, hopefully this time, I will have passed the CCIE and I will have an opportunity to go to Microsoft Ignite. So we'll see about next year, but yeah, it does make a lot of sense. And man, there's some really cool, and a good bit of the team I'm on now does it. I'm like one of the only ones who's like not going to Ignite. So But yeah, so it is a grind in a sense. Some days you're like excited to go to the gym and you're just charged, ready, and look forward to it. And other days you drag yourself into the gym, knowing that later it's going to pay off, you know. And it always does for me, like in terms of feeling good about myself, feeling good, getting energy, for the rest of the day. I get up at 4:30. I go to a 5 a.m. class. Um, it's the same with labbing. So some days I feel like it more than others. Some days I absolutely don't feel like it at all. But when I get on here at 7 and I assess my status and I start, reading or doing at least a little bit of a lab or reviewing flashcards or something, I'm doing something, and I feel better afterwards. So just a grind. This made is, if you could ever do it over again, would you still do the CCI routing and switch, or would you change up a tad bit? A lot of network engineers are going more to the CCI DC. That's interesting. I have not seen. Of course, I'm only in certain circles, but I've not seen a lot of people going more for the DC over the RS. I've seen people gravitating, I know, towards security and service providers, some DC. But I would actually, I get that question a lot, and especially now that I'm not doing networking as much day to day, or more like cloud networking, because I'm on a cloud team now. So people say, would you have done it differently? Would you have gone for, your Azure certs or AWS or something like that? Who knows? At any particular time in your career, there's always like something that you're working on now that you want to get better at. And there's always something like in the future that you're going to shift to that. That's always been the case for me in my career. Like, I don't know why, but that's always been, you know, um, and has that shifted a few times? Yes. Like at one point, I was working on VMware certifications. I got my VCP, and then, I changed my mind and gravitated towards networking because I loved it more and it was harder. so, so yeah, it's kind of hard to say. To me, it's a constantly shifting thing, but I don't regret starting the routing switching. I've learned so much about networking that I did not know before. Where I am now versus just a couple years ago in terms of networking knowledge is considerable. And I wouldn't trade that. You the real question for me is, what do I do post CCI routing and switching? So the highest I got in routing and switching is CCNP. So once I obtain the CCI routing switching, the question will be, what do I do next? That I don't know the answer to. I'm thinking like Python or more automation. Mark Milo, I'm going for my CCNA DC. You definitely have a mix of technologies you need to know to work on it. So far, I'm seeing a little route and switch cloud systems. Thinking my VCP studies are paying off. There you go. Log, you rest for a week. Yeah, I am going to get some rest. Well, one kind of rest coming up here at Cisco Live. I usually come back like spent and tired, but in a good way, like from all the excitement and running around with new people and people that I know from like Cisco Live. But yeah, great questions, folks. Glad to see some good chats. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. Yeah, getting to back to a few little terminal settings here. They want VTY line 0 through 4 without an ACL. When telnetted in, let's see. I don't understand this one. When a user is telnetted into, so when they mistype a command in exec mode, R3 should not open a telnet session to the command as if a host name. Oh, okay. I think I know what that is. I think that's going to be no IP domain lookup. In other words, if you type R3 and hit enter, it will try to launch a telnet session to a host called R3. You go do a domain lookup. Maybe that's how you prevent it, is to turn on domain lookup. Cisco scripting is where it's at. Post CCIE using both network and non-network context. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing now. Like, scripting. We're starting to do a lot of things in C#, using Azure Functions, so function apps, and that's like, I'm down here, and C# is like so up here. So, so yeah, that's the kind of stuff I want to really get into. Okay, so configure v2 0. Okay. We'll listen at port 3001. And if terminal line is busy, we had one of these yesterday. The terminal line is busy. Sorry, the line is already in use. There's another command that is more direct that allows DNS enabled at the same time. Okay. Let us see. There's probably a no telnet host lookup or something like that. Exec sessions. Timeout after 2 minutes. User should not be able to hold the line busy more than 5. I think I know that command. I know this one. Terminal length, no more than 20 lines. Net masks should be displayed using hex numbers. This is interesting. Line v2 0 for the transport preferred none. Good old Peter. Oh, Peter Lupikoff? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. Okay, we're gonna keep that. Oh, that's Peter Pollock. Okay, cool. Looking forward to seeing him. Banner MOTD, how are you, man? There should be a whole track for VTY. The CCIE VTY track. I tell you, by the depth of labs we're having to do on terminal lines and telnet, it would seem that. Cool, yeah, Crisco, thanks. Yet another VTY, yeah. Or how about, yeah, instead of YAML, Vidi. Mentors in the house. Sorry, I joined late, fam. Great to catch stream. Good bits to everybody. Thank you, man. Netmask, not Netmask. I noticed, by the way, folks, I noticed this today. I don't know how I did not notice this before, but speaking of IP services and system management, I noticed that at Cisco Live, I looked at, we got an email today about, kind of a checklist. Before you go, checklist from Cisco. Make sure you do this and that. And there were some good things in there. They sent us a bus schedule. Like, I found out that my the Airbnb I'm going to be staying at is right next to a bus stop for one of the hotels. Like, I'm going to be right next to, so I'll be able to take, if I want to take the bus, I'll have that option. But in the session catalog, because they talked about scheduling your walk-in self-paced labs, I thought, well, I didn't think you were able to schedule that, and you're not. I don't think that's exactly what it said, but you can favorite the labs you want to take and walk in self-paced labs. So I was like, okay, let me check and see, because I could not remember how many that I took last time around. And I think it's cool that you can actually see which practice labs you can do. So Diag, I'm probably going to do more than once, because that's just a whole different sort of experience that I want more practice on. Then you have IPv4 Technologies Practice Lab. So this is like the config, right? You have Layer 2 Practice Lab. I did this one last year. I hope it's a little bit different. This had some PPPoE in it that I did not know last year, and this year I should be able to hit this spot on. MPLS Technologies. You have a troubleshooting assessment and a troubleshooting practice lab. I'll be taking both of these several times. Then you have, here you have it, Infrastructure and Security Technologies Practice Lab. So that is total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 walk-in self-paced labs. So that is where I'm going to be spending the majority of my time. How'd you like the INE rack rental LAN? Thumbs up or down? Undecided. I'll say thumbs up. I liked it. I'm going to use it more for when I need to do some switching things. Tigo, pack an extra bag for loot. I know, although this year I'm flying on Frontier, and it was a whole ordeal because I used Concur to book Frontier, and I forgot that I needed to pay ahead of time for a bag. I don't fly that often. So I had to call the agency, and there was a whole ordeal. Like, anyway, yeah, I hope to get some good loot. Hey, last year they had a temporary site for the free access to most stuff, but time bombed on June 17th. Hope they can set up a lot of premium training content for certs. They did. I remember that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, I hope to take advantage of it. For all those going to Cisco Live, please keep bringing it up to them to add a speed feature to their recordings. It is brutal watching some of their recordings at normal speed. So, Mark Milo, I don't know how much they'll be on it this time. Yeah, Tahigo's telling you about it. We found a way to download some of them. You can use VLC. Yeah, you might have to view source and then grab it. Some of them were originally like you could find a way to download them, and later they changed it, but that's they're probably still able to do that. Check us out on Discord, Mark Milo, and because in our Cisco Live channel last year, people were showing the format to be able to download them. Yeah, maybe you just came across the ones that didn't work, because some of them just, you could not do that at all. At Ignite, like they put all of them on YouTube. I thought was cool. I'll drop a message to them and perhaps someone, yeah. Mention the specific one. Maybe someone found a way to do it. All right, so the other thing is allow a user to lock PTY terminal lines. I know I'm typing, my typing is horrible. Oh, there we go. Hopefully you guys have a little free time at Cisco Live. Finish short stream or two for those of us who will not be attending. You know, mentors, I did that last year. In fact, I interviewed Dmitry Fiegel out on the lawn, I think. Or no, we went inside. And then I did a few sort of walk around streams. We'll definitely do that. Looks like YouTube DL. I've used that. That's an open source. Is that in Homebrew, Crisco? I need to check and see. Is that in Homebrew? I used to use that all the time when I was when Fedora was like my main workstation. Booted to Fedora. I did the one with Russ. Yeah, I just met Russ White last year. Oh yeah, there's the there's the repo. So I'll bet it's probably on Brew. Yep, it's in Brew. Thank you, Crisco. Cool. I'm gonna install it now. Definitely catch DevNet workshops with Dimitri and Hank Preston. Yeah, I've signed up for one workshop. There's so many are so tempting, right? But you know, I'm going to Dimitri's. Like I booked that early on because a lot of the other, one of the other DevNet workshops I wanted was completely booked up. You can still hang around, right? Like you can still show up and sort of hang around. All right, the other terminal line setting, sessions initiated from should time out in 1 minute. Sessions initiated from VTY should time out in 1 minute. Feature voice, we always support. Yeah, man. I'm so looking forward to seeing Dimitri. And on my target list this year, my stalker list is Denise Fishburne. I've not had a chance to meet her. I let her know on Twitter. She knows I'm attending her session, and I definitely want to, she has a sticker for me. So Denise Fishburne, networking with fish. I love her interviews, man. She's so sincere and like open about some of her experiences, and she has a lot of wisdom and comments. I mean, she just lays it. You know, she speaks truth. So really looking forward to meeting her. Mentors, hope to see Tony E back up and running. Been missing my lab, buddy. I know he's been real. He's hoping like post Cisco Live too. I think. Definitely be seeing Tony E. All right, when console line is idle, console's line is idle. We should see a welcome to iOS. Only allow one session to be initiated. All right, so let's cover some of these commands here. I should have booted up a router already. Let's do that now. I'm only gonna boot up. I gotta get moving because I have some meal prep to do here before tomorrow. So we'll at least, I'm not gonna like look up all these commands. I'm just gonna go through the workbook answers because this is all memorization. This is not routing concepts here. This is user interfaces on a router. To me, it's like, oh, well, how do you select multiple resource groups in the Azure portal? How can you set the timeout for login to the Azure portal? I mean, it's just, they're going to test us on it. So it's part of the CCIE. So you got to at least know. Oh no, you still on that keto fix? More meat, my man. Oh yeah, I've got to cook some meat tonight. Definitely. Yep, still on keto. Still going. I did the Murph workout on Memorial Day. And I realized that when I did it this year and I ran it, it's 1 mile, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and another 1 mile run. And I realized, and I did it with a vest this year. Vest weighed 20 pounds. I realized, well, that's how much I weighed the last time I before keto. So, and it was heavy. It was like, man, I can't believe I was, carrying that around. Um, 20 pounds makes a difference. Anyway, so we're gonna do this. Launch this. Let's load up this NG. It's logged in here. And it says router 3, so as long as you're feeling good and healthy, keep it up. Yeah, man. Awesome, man. Respect all vets this Thursday, 7th anniversary of D-Day. Oh, yeah, that's right. I want to go I want to go back and watch Band of Brothers. I love that series. So exec timeout. I knew this command, right? Exec timeout. The tricky part here is you have two numbers. So what is that exec timeout? Or actually, let's say you wanted the exec timeout to be 100 seconds. What would the command be? If you know, that's cool. Just type it in the chat. It would be that, wouldn't it? The first is minutes, and the second is seconds. So this is saying they want exact session timeout in 2 minutes. That's how you do it with that command. Lockable. So that takes care of that. That should take care of that. Terminal length should be no more than 20 lines. That'd be terminal length 20, I believe. Oh, it's just length. Okay, length is 20. What is terminal length? That's probably on some of the older gear. You used to have to type terminal length. Looks like on iOS, just length. So that takes care of that. Notice they put terminal length here. See, INE's sneaky. They'll try to get you to... Oh, let me look at the stream. Hold on. Okay, stream's looking healthy. Yeah, we're okay. It's an exec command versus this being a configuration command. Right. Yeah, that's the exec timeout. It blipped a little, but it's fine. Yeah, it could be when I kicked off this. I'm running this locally, so. Tigo terminal length may be the command line command versus configuration of the V2I terminal. Ah, that could be it. That could be it. We're about to find out. So. I thought you did that in exec mode though, right? Terminal. Yeah. Okay, terminal length is still legit. That's right. Okay. But this is right on the VTY lines. Good point, Tigo. Yeah, terminal length for exec mode. Capture scripts. Yeah, terminal length 0. That's generally when you type the terminal length command, right? Is when you're logging something long and you just do terminal length 0. Yeah, the exec command is valid for that session only. Good stuff, guys, because ready capture. Yep. The length is So let's do, that's line VTY04, right? Let me double check this workbook. Yeah, this is all under line VTY. So we've got exec timeout to, I don't have to type the seconds. I can just, I do have carriage return. Yes, when doing programmer output, you don't have to tab more, etc. Exactly. A lockable. Length. Number of lines on the VTY line screen. Here for no pausing. Yeah, 20. 512 is the upper boundary, which is the same for the terminal length. Absolute timeout. So that takes care of users should not be able to users should not be able to hold the line busy more than 5 minutes. A net mask should be displayed in hex numbers. So IP net mask format. Interesting. You can do bit count, decimal, or hexadecimal. Interesting. Refuse message. We'll use a pound for delimiter. Sorry, the line is already in. We know about delimiters from like our banner messages. I'm sure there's labs in here for banner messages. Session timeout is 1. Okay, we took care of net mask displayed. Sessions initiated from VTY should time out in 1 minute. Okay. If terminal busy, sorry, the line is already in use, error. Okay. That's for console. So we still have the VTY line 0. But before we configure that, let's go to our transport preferred. It's going to be none. Transport input telnet. Only telnet connection to VTY 0 through 4 without using. So we basically only enabled telnet unless we do some sort of special access class, right, for a user or something like that. Okay, mistype a command in exec mode. R3 should not open a telnet session to the command as if a host name. And they do not have that configuration here. At least not what I was expecting. Did they just leave that out? Oh, that is a transport preferred none command. Ah, got it, Cisco. Okay, so in other words, if I type a command here, We're not giving your session, your exec session, a preferred transport. Okay, gotcha. The article explains how you do IP name server set. Yeah. Default is try telnet the hostname you type in the CLI, but won't do hostname up on VY. Okay. That makes sense. Oh, really? Cisco. Transport for none will probably be a more common config when Cisco forces everyone smart licensing, which requires functional DNS on each router switch because they have to call home, right? So you gotta have working DNS to call home. Interesting. Good. I know what that is now. Awesome. I'm gonna make some cards on these once I finish my cooking this evening. So, all right. So let's get to the port. Line VTY 0. $69X for Catalyst, $16X for routers. Smart. Oh, really? I'm learning a lot. I am too, man. Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. So line VTY 0. Check it out. I've seen this once before. Rotary 1. So the net effect of that is it starts at TCP port 3000 plus whatever rotary number you're using. So that's kind of a you're kind of giving them a different port to add. It could be almost used as a backdoor, right? So telnet lines are busy, but you can connect to VTY 0 on TCP port 3001. Kind of cool. Of course, you don't want to be using telnet in your network. It's not secure. And here on line console, so kind of similar. Line con 0. Session limit 1. Seen that already. And then vacant message. There are a number of messages here that I'm learning about. Welcome, iOS. So I forget what when it considers vacant. When the console line is idle, that is our configuration, folks. Let's try to connect to, let's launch another router real quick. I really do have to go. Let's say router 7. And just try a few connections. I can actually break this console connection. I forget how I do it. Let's see, Control Shift. Oh, log out. Yeah. There we go. Welcome to iOS. There's your vacant message. Ah, thank you. Welcome to iOS. Well, so Mark Milo, I'll tell you this. So if you've ever had, so if they, I work in healthcare, we have high trust, HIPAA, but basically we go by high trust. We are high trust certified. And what will happen with high trust certification? You go through different phases, right? One is to do, first of all, external vulnerability scans and penetration testing. Then, at a later phase of high trust certification, they will start doing internal, vulnerability scans and testing. And when you have Telnet, when you have ports listening on Telnet, that is considered a vulnerability. So yeah, if you don't have anybody, if you're not paying, if some of those customers not paying anybody right now to um, conduct vulnerability scans internal in your network, then no one's yelling at you probably to fix it at this point, or yelling at them, whoever the case may be. But if they ever do go for that, some certification like that, or submit to testing, then yeah, if ports are found like that, you know, uh, yeah, it'll be considered a risk. It'll go on a list, and people will hound you about the list to correct that. So um, that might be something you want to pass along. Yeah, I'm glad I turned in this particular stream. Appropriate name for this stream. What? Customizing VPI lines. Leaving telnet enable is helpful when someone wipes the RSA key and you can't SSH in. Interesting. So you're storing a key on the device. Yeah, I'm not sure that scenario. Crisco, like I know, like a lot of companies are using ICE. And yeah, we actually have to use RSA to connect to our devices. I see what you mean now. I think I gotcha. I see what you mean. Dedicated server with out of band port is better. True, indeed. Well, at least I'm not in charge. I'm just following deaf ears out there. A lot of the suggestions. Gotcha, Mark Miller. Yeah, I understand, man. Yeah, if you don't have RSK, it won't allow. That's the situation I'm in. We have to have an RSA token, valid RSA token, and an account associated with that token that's not locked. The number of customers without OB makes me cry and drink whiskey. I know, right? OB is the best. So we've got our other router up. Let's check our interfaces here, and let's hop on over to router 7, which is quote unquote directly connected. And let's try to telnet. Show retrieve. Good. The interface is up. Telnet. 201.3.3, 3001. It works. And that took us right in, didn't it? What if we do just... Okay. There's no login. It must be enable show run section Y. Oh, cool. It breaks out. So when I type that command, interesting. So we did rotary 1 on line VTY0. So it just cloned all the other commands and just added that. That's cool. Makes sense. Very logical. No login. Why? Okay. What else? Oh, it wants us to verify the console limit. So on router 3, telnet. Well, I don't have enough routers up at the moment, and that's cool. Okay, so here's this lock command. Check this out. Oh, I don't know what the password is. Oh, I have to type a password here. Check that out. Now it's locked. To unlock. That could be useful when you're like messing with a buddy. Like if you're rolling out switches or something and you go to the bathroom and you don't want him to jack your console connection and mess you up. You can do the lock command and put your own password on there. That's cool. All right, that's going to wrap it up for tonight, folks. I want to read the rest of that offline. And thanks so much for all the feedback. Great. We had some fun with VTY lines. I'm also going to create some flashcards out of these so I can memorize some of these commands. And we shall see you all back here if all goes well. We'll be back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. What's on the horizon depends on how far I get in my morning study sessions. So thanks again back to my DC studies. You're welcome, man. But we'll finish this SNMP, right? So looks like we'll do SNMP V2 first. It looks like there are 4 labs for SNMP V2 and 3 labs for SNMP V3. So that'll be good. I wonder what they'll have us set up using for SNMP. Like the management server. See. But yeah, thanks again, folks. Good to talk to everyone. Getting a few labs in for Cisco Live, taking a week off. And we shall see y'all back here tomorrow on Land Tamara Stream. Buenas noches.